So the microphone will be the talking stick, and we're live right now, so you can just talk about what you've experienced here. No, wait.
She's the director.
Yeah.
Okay, but we are live. People are watching.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone.
Hi, people. Nice to be with you. Thanks for joining us. What is this about?
It's Alex. Are you the one who is no?
Do you want to moderate?
You talking or you managing this?
She's facilitating. She's also the director.
You are the director.
This is the Women's Hour of Convergence TV.
Director, like facilitator, I don't know, whatever.
You need to speak up for Sophia so she can hear us.
She's putting in her earpiece so she can hear better.
In general, we would have to talk to this.
We're going to pass it around.
Yes.
If you want to, I have a second microphone for this.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you. Perfect. Perfect organized. Thank you.
Maybe you want to sit where Nee is. That way your good ear can hear all of us.
Okay.
You like that?
But she is okay. I can change place also because the talker is different each time.
No, we will sit on the same place and we will give the microphone to the next person.
Oh, yeah.
So you choose the best place for you to sit.
Don't know, but I'm going. Tell me about that.
I think we are set.
Let's pass your microphone with ours.
All right.
Sophie's in.
So I wanted to welcome you here to the Coherence studio. I wanted to propose for today a simple heart sharing. In the morning, we had a very wonderful. Excuse me, audience. If you want to be in the audience, you have to listen. So, if you don't want to listen, you have to go somewhere else. Thank you. We had a very wonderful session in the morning, and then Andrew, our director of the evening program, proposed like, "Hey, this was really powerful, but there were only men. Where are the women?" And this is why we decided that for this evening program, for the closing of the Coherence studio, this is our last session, unless something spontaneously comes up tomorrow, we wanted to invite women. And I was searching for a prompt or whatever, like topic for the discussion, but in service of feminine energy, I wanted to invite simple heart sharing. So because we also have a talking stick, so we can use talking stick technology, and I will be passing this to you, and we go in a round until the time is gone.
Almost.
We have time until the top of the hour, so 52 minutes now. All right? Good. Yeah.
I will talk in the end. It's okay for you?
I guess, yeah.
What's on your heart?
What's on my heart? Connection. I am starting to really ground into what my intention was for this event. I think part of the magic is we were all coming together in our coherence in the last days of how we connect and what we're all here for. And there are lots of different voices, especially today, of different goals and aspirations. And I think what's been beautiful is to see everyone really ground into themselves and maintain their own energy and create the path that they would like to receive. So for me, that has been flowing, really being in my feminine for the first time in my life. Coming from 10 years in corporate public relations in New York, I've always been. I feel it has been a bit closed today and not necessarily open to taking in all the different impulses and all the different other paths that have been presented. I have found exactly what I need in the masculine and the feminine. And it's been really powerful to be able to access that part of me and hold it in a way that is unchangeable and really persistent. So I think I have all the space holders to thank for that. And I love that all the different energies in the space have challenged this, because it's made me that much more resilient. And it's been cool to hear other conversations. I just came out of a discussion of the engine that can use fuel more efficiently. And I think that technology could be a blessing for the world. And it was beautiful to hear about. And it challenged, brought me back into that technical brain. But I loved that push. And I knew in my heart when it was time to move. And then I checked my phone for the first time in over 24 hours and saw this and sat. And here we are. So thank you all for holding space in the different ways you know how and allowing all the energies to flow in the ways that they needed to. Because I think we all are getting what we need out of this event, and so many different things, and how beautiful that we can hold it all. Last?
Thank you, Kat. Well, I too am full of gratitude with a big open heart. Your share really was inspiring. When I was a child, I wanted to be a boy because I wasn't safe as a girl. And I thought if I was a boy, I wouldn't be suffering the way I was from the violence that men wrought upon me. So I too, I've played on the gender spectrum my whole life and definitely identify as non-binary. But I think everybody here has been telling me how wonderful it is the way I hold space in divine feminine. And that is also a healing for me, just like you just said. And I think it's what's in the field, because we're a microcosm of the macro, right? And the work that we're all doing here is the work that this collective of humanity needs to do to regain balance between masculine and feminine and between humanity and the rest of nature. So my heart is bursting with hope and joy and gratitude to see all of the ways so many people are engaging in this work of using so many different technologies. We're using social technologies, we're using spiritual technologies, we're using technologies, what do you call them? Computer technology? Digital technologies. Thank you. We're using mechanical technologies. We're building different kinds of communities, and we're expanding our thoughts of what it means to be a global community of diversity, where we can each be dancing with the whole in our own unique ways, but united in the coherence of our common dream for peace, for balance, for restoration. It's always struck me since I was really small. Most humans want peace. Like a huge majority of humans, we just want our children to be safe. And we have the technology to thrive. And the earth has so much abundance. And she's calling us back, and she's calling us back to ourselves and calling us back into relationship with her. And I absolutely believe in our collective power to create systems that can neutralize, diffuse, and hospice the culture of domination and extraction that we've inherited. I absolutely believe in us. It's already happening. And coming here to be with you all to talk about all of these various technologies and to really find the way, right? We're wayfinding. We're going to a place we've never been. Ancient futures, right? We're tapping back into our ancestral knowledge and our ancestral life ways of being in relationship with land. Understanding our wholeness and understanding the power that our bodies and spirits have when we're in our wholeness. And we're bringing all that with us, along with the possibilities that all of the technologies we've developed in the meantime create for us, right? So we're restoring balance. We're restoring balance. Ah. 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 Yeah. I'm so grateful for each of you and the ways that you're all showing up for this work, because it's hard straddling the old ways and the new ways at the same time. And it's hard to be the bridge, you know? But we're learning to be the bridges, and we're learning to set those pillars that hold the bridge deep into the muck and mire so that we can start adding the planks that go across, you know? And you all inspire me because every one of you is brilliant with inspiration and technology and creativity and presence. That's the last thing I want to say. This work requires that all of us are developing such deep presence to marry the past and the future, to marry the feminine and the masculine, to transcend the binary and just be in our wholeness. It's a deep journey, healing ourselves for the sake of our collective, healing our collective for the sake of our children and our children's children for 7 generations times 7. Woo! Thank you all. Thank you all for inspiring me and seeing me and valuing me, because we're coming from a culture that hasn't valued this work. We're creating the culture that does. Together.
Thank you. All right, we will.
Wow, thank you, Trey, for these beautiful words. I'm honestly in awe to what you just said, because it really tells a beautiful story of why we're here. And for me, today marks a day of connecting the dots and also putting a dot to the end of why I came here. And I'm so grateful for, where is he? I think he isn't even here. Andrew, who's been inviting me into this space, because over the past days, I wasn't even aware of what the Coherence studio does or what conversations were going on. And these were actually the questions that I carried in my heart for such a long time. And then finally, I was able to also ask these questions and to just witness all the brilliant minds that were weaving together ideas and initiatives, endeavors to a beautiful story. And I feel like the work that Coherence does is really amazing, and I'm so thankful for what you set up here as well, and also for the space that you create to invite female energies and voices to be heard as well, because it's honestly been a barrier for me as a non-technical person and also as a female person to have the courage to step into that space and to also, like, you know, share thoughts and ask questions. But as I got into that space, it was so safe. And I just want to express my absolute gratitude for all the male people in that room as well, to hold such a safe space for us all to also feel invited, to feel welcome to enter the conversation as well. And yeah, that's been, I think, the most present for me today. So thank you, Coherence. And also thank you all for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. What's on my heart? Yeah, first of all, thank you for initiating this space.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining.
And my duty also.
I feel, and I don't want to say the women, but I want to say the feminine voices, the feminine principles are still not strong enough. I want to put it that way. I feel that, as you already said, it takes a lot of courage for the women to speak up in these spaces, to bring in what we feel as women is needed, because they're still very dominated by men. And I'm not saying that we are without, agency, because we can and we could. And I'm very grateful that more and more are. And I'm very grateful for also the men who are here in the space who were having a lot of patience, I feel, over the last days, with also for them to allowing in more and more of these feminine principles into the spaces. And I can imagine that it was sometimes maybe even more difficult for them than for us as women, because we are more used to them. And I also feel that, if you look at the organizations, companies, whatever, who are co-creating with AI and technology, very often is still very dominated by male. And often also the women who are stepping in are representing more the masculine than the feminine. So I just want to call that out and recognize that we are still on the very first steps to allowing that balance to really come in and have more space. And I also want to say, for me, it's important that we acknowledge that it shouldn't feel like a threat. It doesn't have to be an either or, but it's the balance, it's the dance, it's the inception, I almost want to say, of both that's needed to create magic. And I also believe we are really on a pivotal time where this is becoming very close to being possible. And like you said, most of us who are walking this path are these pioneers to actually get to the point to prepare it, not even saying that maybe it's not us who are having who are being involved in the kind of breakthrough moments, but we are preparing, and maybe it's just because we need to prepare so that others can follow and other having those breakthroughs, right? And it needs the male, it needs the masculine to really hold that strong foundation so that the women can step in and feel protected and safe enough to show up. And so it needs both. I want to really invite every one of us, as much as you are like already very active in this space and really having a lot of agency, to acknowledge that we are all just being a lineage of those who have been walking before, and that will pass, will follow us after us, because we're not doing it for us, we're doing it for the next generations, as you also mentioned. And I want to bring in that visual of the tree. You know, you plant a seed of a tree, and you might not even be able to sit in the shadow of that tree in your lifetime. So in terms of the collective, of the why, the what for are we doing this, I really feel as being the vessels that are letting these future ideas coming through us or being envisioned, and even if we might not get there, I'm very, very sure at one point there will be all these visions being realized. And if we can just allow ourselves to have the courage and walk every step as much as we can, trusting that every step is important and not be frustrated or feel as failure or whatever, that's enough. It's already enough. So yeah, I'm very thankful for everyone to be here in whatever capacity, and to joining without being attacked or without being whatever you feel you're not, because you're enough as everyone else is enough. Everyone brings a puzzle piece that's super, super important in this moment of time. Everyone is here because we are needed to be here. Yeah. And I'm really grateful.
I heard you. And I see myself in each of you. Thank you, mirrors. Also the men. And what I find amazing, amongst the amazing, here, closer, okay, darling. It's to meet an awakened feminine in women and also in men. During that gathering, I had many opportunities to connect and to feel touched in a discussion with a man and staying with this quality of being touched both. And it reminded me what you told me when we met. What resonates, and it's the first time I hear another woman telling me an intimate experience. And, you know, at a certain moment it arrives. It expands, it expands, it expands, the yin. And yeah, there is that feeling that, whoops, this is it. And staying with it, and you say, stay with us. And suddenly, it still expands and expands and expands and expands. Whoops! And it feels like it's finished. It will explode. And stay with it. Please stay with it. Woman or man. And suddenly, wow, magic happens. It expands. It expands beyond limits. It's real. But just stay. And that talks also about presence. Just stay. So I had many opportunities during this gathering, for instance, to see myself mirrored, to live very enjoyable experiences and many challenging experiences. And that was amazing. The invitation was to stay and to cross, to see what happens, what unfolds, and staying with it, and accepting the discomfort. And power for me comes from, for me, accepting to feeling vulnerable, touched, staying with it. And it expands, it expands, it expands. And there is so much power in that is revealed. But I can talk about it. It needs to be experienced. So, and it's amazing because I wasn't taught about that. I needed to live it. So this is feminine for me. And it is here in men and women. Yes, so. But maybe women discovered, like in the probabilities, let's say. There is more probabilities that women discover that before men. I don't know. There is no before. There is a right time for each. I'm happy that men are also here. It's not also about women. It's about the feminine power and the masculine power within each of us. Right. So for me, all the technologies could be imprinted with those inner powers. And yeah, with our own vulnerabilities. I felt so much touched by your sharing. And this crossed the screen. and the microphone. Thank you.
We didn't introduce ourselves. None of us introduced ourselves. Can we introduce ourselves? I'll pass it back to Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have 27 minutes, I
Great.
think. So we
Great.
can we can keep sharing also.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Ariana, do you want to also join us? Then, yeah, because I'm just the moderator, so you can take my seat. No. Oh, okay. No, I'm still here.
I'm thinking about the digital technology, the gathering. No, I'm Tree. Oh, sio, itlaga usti dagwado. Chi chalagi, chikamaugi. I'm Tree, little Tree. I'm Cherokee. My ancestors are Chickamauga, Cherokee. And I am a part of the Terran Collective, stewarding Hilo.com, and I'm also a part of the Alelo Now Genesis 1, building foundational back-end tech for an operating system that's grounded in digital sovereignty. But those are just my hobbies. My passion really is healing through deep connection and coaching leaders and organizations through the transition from business as usual hierarchy to cooperatives and collectives and shared power. Because of that deep work that has to happen for all of us to learn to do that, it takes healers. So I love making music. I think music is my primary medicine. That is my introduction of myself.
And you also wanted to introduce a prompt, is that correct?
I was just thinking the gathering was conceived for the coherence of many digital tech platforms, apps, ideas. And yet we're all here with various degrees of involvement with the digital tech and kind of cultivating that heart, right? That feminine heart. Because the idea is to create digital tech and an internet that serves life rather than extraction, rather than attention mining, rather than, turning our children into little zombies who want to buy things constantly. So I'm just wondering about each of your relationship to this intersection of digital technology and these heart technologies that we're bringing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And please introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Kat Colquitt, Catherine. I, as mentioned before, lived for 10 years in New York and worked in corporate public relations, primarily serving financial institutions. So my everyday was surrounded by very, very strong masculine, and I had to, embody my masculine in order to inhabit those spaces. So my journey over the past 10 months after quitting my job and leaving New York and trying to find my new path and integration has been, what role does digital technology play as I feel into the earth, as I feel into my heart? And I think I'm still figuring that out. But what excites me is that these new technologies show such promise and opportunity when used by the right minds in connection with each other and in connection with ancestral wisdom and spiritual practice and embodiment through these connective moments with each other. So I'm not quite sure how I contribute. I'm not sure what piece of the puzzle I am yet, but I'm so excited to find out and harness these technologies that I've been so ingrained with before leaving the corporate world, and look forward to rejoining from a new place of presence and balance to create that new path.
It's you. I'll present.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
You said I thought you wanted to go last.
I'm Sophia.
Beautiful.
I'm Sophia. And I am many things. I am a space holder, a constellation practitioner, an artist. I was an engineer, hydraulic engineer, fluid engineer. Performer. And I guess I did scientific studies and work also to feel more comfortable after with the more subtle dimension of life. And now all what feels subtle feels really tangible for me, because it's all about vibrational fields. I mean, we all have a phone. And what is subtle also for the body, for the feelings, for the yin energy, the yang energy, the balanced energetic fields we are creating through the tech, in presence, the power of a body, in distance, in presence, and just being connected with someone, even at distance, even with thoughts, the power of our thoughts. So all that, it's like pieces of a puzzle that are all coming together. And I'm just exploring how all that background and path will find its way with the tech, all that, the tech, hard tech dimension, of course, and the digital tech. There is much power there. And it passes, through a human body.
So the question was the relation between hard technology and the digital technology that we are basically representing or here for.
The intersection that brought you.
Yeah, the introduction. I'm Dani. I start with my hard technology. So I think since I can think, I was always wondering why humans have different behavior. What motivates a human to do what they're doing? And I feel I was like maybe in my teenage years when that started, and I already realized quite early that there's inequality, it's not fair what's going on in the world, and I felt very privileged, and I wanted to understand what I can do. So my wish was to become a psychologist quite early, but then I took a different road. I became a psychologist in the end, and I'm a therapist and a healer and work in that field. But I also always had like a second thread where I was working with social entrepreneurship, social impact organizations, corporate citizenship programs of big corporates. And that journey kind of took me into regenerative communities and into global communities. And during all these experiences, I always came back to the question, why do we as humans not actually use the technology as we could? What is still holding us back as a human? What is still bringing us back into these loops of, conditioning, of being triggered, our egos being too strong, whatever it is, no blaming, but just observing what is holding us back of actually really stepping into that potential, of really not only dreaming, but creating what we can create. And that is one reason why I ended up with Haifa, because Haifa had the vision of creating tools that would help people to interconnect and to coordinate and to create new systems that would actually bring into reality what we all dream about, right? And also Planeteer, I'm also sitting here for Planeteer, feeling that Planeteer is holding that vision of co-creating a new platform that is balancing the feminine and the masculine, and is saying, how can we co-create another future for the next generations to come? So for me, what is really true is that the digital technology is a tool. And yes, now we can debate whether AI, or AGI or SI will maybe also have its own agenda, whatever. I still feel we're going to collaborate, we're going to co-create. So the question for me is always coming back still. It's like, how can we humans take agency and come together co-creatively, collaboratively to create this vision, this dream? What is holding us back? So in the end, I kind of started to have a project which is trying to support healers and body workers and coaches. And I created a platform for healers, coaches, and body workers to say, if humans do not really go that path of healing and face what's painful and work through their own stuff, we will not get there. So I'm very grateful that most of the people here actually are doing a lot of work on themselves, and we're very conscious about each other in our journeys, and we're doing journeys together. And I really believe it will not happen if we are not allowing ourselves to look into these things. Reparation, you mentioned before, it's like, how do we really face what we have done in the past, and how can we solve it differently for the future? Yeah.
I'm Ni, and I'm also many things. I think it's always like so difficult to describe who you are or even put labels onto that. We had a big conversation about it today, like what's your identity? And then also how can maybe new technology enable to contextualize your identity? Because I am a musician. I am also an entrepreneur. I'm a community builder. I would also consider myself in this whole puzzle piece as the person who likes to put the puzzle pieces together and ask questions of how this whole picture can come together. So I learned the last days that this can be called a societal architect or a bridge builder, or maybe also just a person who wonders. And yeah, so that's me. I have close relations to what you were sharing about coming from the entrepreneurial world, also social startups, and then at the same time having the burning desire to understand why people do what they do and also how to get them to change. Because I believe that in this whole systems change equation, human behavior is an integral factor that needs to be considered and understood, so that all the technology and products that we're developing and designing are also actually being adopted. And I see myself as the intersection of technology, but then also human adoption, and trying to maybe also put an an academic, scientific lens onto that. And I believe that a lot of new business models and the new operating systems we're talking about are quite intellectualized, and it's really hard to grasp for, I would say, normal people who are not yet in our beautiful bubble, in our beautiful communities that we have. And I wonder how we can tell stories and create narratives to also meet the people where they are, and to provide access points so they can also become aware that there are companies or initiatives or communities working towards that regenerative future already. There are systems architects that are thinking about really progressive ways of, alternative ways of living together, of organizing ourselves. But again, how do we also make this accessible to the rest of the world? And what is the common story that we need to tell? I believe that this is really an essential question that we need to ask ourselves when we gather in events like these. And that's where I believe technology and the work that we're doing on consciousness and tapping into our wisdom are coming into play, because they need to go hand in hand. And that's why it's a balance of the outer world and the inner world. And that's why it's so important to also have all these diverse talents and gifts here to allow for space to be brainy and to have these vivid conversations about the nitty-gritty of the technological integrations, but then also to go into spaces where we can feel into ourselves again, and maybe go more into, okay, zooming out and understanding what do people actually need to resonate with all these brainy intellectual systems that we create here. Because in the end, it's really the emotions that moves people and that touches people. So yeah, that is the invitation, I think, from me to think about the bridges and the words and the feelings that we want to deliver. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my heart is beating so fast. Yeah, just really grateful. Wow, to be here with you all. And just the tender hearts and the drumbeat of the wisdom here is really gorgeous. Thank you.
Remember to introduce yourself.
Yes, here I go.
Thank you.
So I guess the identity I can claim in this very moment is I'm a very playful visionary. And I'm totally here for the full spectrum experience of humanity. And I happen to be a woman with a very complex and multidimensional biological system. So we know how to create life. That's cool. Yeah. So in the joy of that, I have been stewarding a vision that we are all also stewarding,
the way it's coming through specifically for me is I want to create a playground for the new systems, the new ways of being, the new human. And that looks like taking advantage of the catalyst that the emergent creative process is, which is essentially the mystery. And I see the mystery as the richest space and place for us to cultivate our capacities that include the heart, that include the senses that are beyond the traditional. And I sense that we only have, right now, we're only accessing like a tiny bit of what human creativity actually is and our potential in creating. I mean, all of us right here are probably on the edge, on the frontier of what that is. And we're only at the beginning. So how awesome is that? And so I want to create a digital playground where we can invite people into a playful way of changing the world, because it's no better time than right now. We're ready. And I think that invitation into the mystery is very magnetic. I also see that most people on the planet right now are engaging with their phones and computers way more than their own bodies and the planet. So let's take advantage of that and create a technology that can take them back into their bodies, that can bring them back into connection in a fun way. So, yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm here looking for the team and the puzzle pieces and the story, because there's no way I can do this alone. And it's so stunning to meet people who have already been doing this for years and years. It's amazing. I feel humbled by the wisdom at this gathering.
Ariana,
Yes.
I have the sad news that we only have about 2.5 more minutes.
I have good news.
Okay.
I'm complete.
Please
Please
Thank
pass
you.
it
We have
on.
one more guest.
Oh, hello.
Hi. I came late. Is this a mic too? Okay. So
The question was introduce yourself, but also we're just talking about this intersection of digital technology and the heart technology.
mhm.
And we were talking before you arrived about the balance of masculine and feminine principles in any gender, in people of any gender, but how this energy of making and doing and being and loving is coming together to create the great turn.
It arrives. So I heard, Ariana, I can take the thread from where you left it. You hear me?
Be sure to tell us who you are first.
I'm Kamalo,
Thank you.
and my second name is Gaskin, if that matters. What you said, a few things. The mystery was one, and it's a word that's come to me quite frequently lately as something it's kind of an ingredient that is always there, but it always leaves room for potentiality, or all potentiality. And you also spoke of what is available to us, not only in our kind of more common senses that we have access to, but the super senses, let's say, or the expanded senses that give kind of an amplification to all the other senses. And this is what I'm dedicating a lot of time to over many years. For me, many years. For some, I'm just stepping into it. And it's also important, another thing that you said that I caught at the end was how much time others have dedicated to the precedents before wherever I start or wherever each one starts. And for me, that's also very important because I can already see that many of the things that we are talking about have a specificity to this time. And I just happen to be like a nascent adult when the internet became a thing. And similar conversations were happening with these clusters of people bringing together minds about how is that going to enhance change or threaten humanity. And I feel this now coming here that I was not so clear what I step into, besides knowing some of the endeavors that Planeteer is casting out at the moment. But I do know that I'm dedicating a lot of my time to studying the complexity of the human, to be human, but also all the systems that are constantly in a very complex communication with each other. I mentioned earlier today in this, I wouldn't call it a workshop quite, but in this kind of concentration of time with a very generous group of people who decided to go wherever I was taking. The group that we spoke about, the interstitium, the fascia, which are systems that I spend a lot of time studying. But not only those, but this growth and life movement that propels life forward. So there's always this kind of moment that we speak of in biochemical terms as the starting moment of life. But what starts that? There's a life that precedes our kind of beginning point of life. And I find that studying such a thing gives me relationship to most people that I encounter who are very serious about their discipline. And I think it's not necessary that I understand everything about a person who is studying AI or writing a book or following bees or painting. It's time. It's okay. I can conclude. I find that if you are invested in your discipline, there are these elements of mystery that emerge that sort of creates this exponential momentum, insights, growth, evolution in whatever we're doing. And from studying what I study, I feel closer to you and you and you and you and you. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What's this time situation, Kevin? We can keep going.
Process of going through creation, teamwork, this competition as well, a lot, the male world, also being very present in our professors, especially, like I was almost no female professor. I really enjoyed exchanging my ideas project kind of excluded me in one moment. So here are some advantages and disadvantages, and I think the combination of both, getting to that, is the solution. Also realizing how I got into my most happy designing processes, where when I connected it to the sacred intuition and wonders of concepts and translating them into space. And I really, really enjoyed that. And so, yeah, but at the same time, I had like really this strong issue with this study world and this pressure. And I don't know if necessarily from just the study surrounding or from my education or where it came from, but it brought me to a point where I actually started a therapy also even. So I was lucky. I found when we had to do like a semester that was where you have to go for the practical semester, an more artistic architecture studio, and it was also Corona, so thanks to that again. And I didn't go to Japan as I wanted to do, and I already had done for my exchange semester, which was really also a great gift from the tradition, from the design. It's not only the form follows function. Oh, really? So it's not only form follows function, but also in Japan, it's the Wu Wei and the wisdom of the material. So, yeah, I didn't talk much about architecture lately, actually, because I shifted then with this practical semester into art more, into physical movement art, like performance. So, yeah, so I love to create atmosphere and spaces. That's how I would like to describe myself. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I say wrap up words? Yeah. I'm just appreciating each of you and your brilliance and the healing journey that we're all on, healing even our own internalized patriarchy, right? So much deep gratitude to each of you for continuing to show up in these spaces, to bring all of these principles that you're each so committed to working with into the new technologies that are being born in the service of life. And I also want to acknowledge that we all stand on the shoulders of our ancestors and the many brilliant teachers that came before us. We come from long lineages of teachers, spiritual leaders, healers, women, men, and all the other ways that gender expresses itself these days. And I just want to deeply honor that we're each on our own personal journey to understanding our own wholeness, which is already inherent in who you are in this moment, but we forget. I really honor the challenges of that journey, and I am deeply grateful and in awe of your commitment to it, to that journey, so that we could be here together, creating together now. Yeah. I have a song. Will this thing pick up other people if I turn it like this?
Yes.
Do you want to sing a song? Okay. It's a Hafiz poem that I just put to music. How do you want to do,
Go
Kevin?
introduce it, and that'll hold it over there, and it'll pick
Okay.
out everybody up.
So I'll sing a line and you can sing it back so that you can learn it, and then we can all sing it together, okay? I think you'll like it. You know Hafiz? Hafiz is a Sufi poet. Can somebody do a better job introducing Hafiz than I can? He's one of Rumi's contemporaries. Okay. After all this time, after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me, pay me back. 'Cause you owe me. You owe me. Pay me back. 'Cause you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. It lights the whole sky. Is that enough or should I try to do Thank you.
Thank you, audience.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Internet.
Don't stop it yet.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.